So I may have gone mining between episodes. I mean, isn't she a beauty? Hey, and welcome back to 100% Minecraft, where I complete every single version of Minecraft before updating. Today it might finally be time for me to actually build a base. I might have this quaint little storage room here, but it really isn't much. And to be honest, I am kinda annoyed at this location right now. Originally I said that I wanted to build like different towns and villages and cities and whatnot to really make my world feel alive, but I am gonna be completely honest. This first place is actually a terrible idea. This mainly just comes from the fact that we are currently so limited with like building blocks and stuff, and having like additional limitations that I put on myself is probably a little bit too much. Another issue is actually the exact location I'm currently at. You can see those torches in the back? Yeah, that's the Tower of Progress. Originally I wanted to have like a base, or like at least a place where I'm gonna be living far enough away that the Tower of Progress is out of a render distance, just because, as I mentioned, this is going to have like so much stuff inside of it, and it's not supposed to be like the actual base, right? It's like more of a museum, but it's just too much, so I don't want it to be rendered. And this is like on the exact border where it's like really awkward, where moving slightly to this direction, I think this is west currently, just moving a few blocks over there basically starts rendering it, and then you have like this massive tower in the future. Obviously currently it's basically just a flat surface that I'm building on, but it's going to be really annoying because it would like basically go into and out of render distance constantly. I also wanted to go for a real alpha and beta vibe when it comes to like my first, like I really don't want to call it base, but technically it's a base. And that's something I'm currently not really doing. There are like a few different bases you could see a lot during this time, and like even if you're looking for screenshots as an inspiration, you are going to have different styles all the time. The first one being like the classic castle and moat, and you have like the big walls and you have like a few buildings inside, and it's really medieval, but it's also relatively realistic. The only issue currently that I'm having is basically I just have cobblestone and stone and a little bit of wood. Like it's kind of limited. I could probably build something in that style. But again, like the location is probably not the best for that one. The second one is one where people have a mostly flat surface and just put like random builds next to each other. And this is kind of what I was almost starting, but again, I wanted to keep it like more medievally, so it would have been somewhere between like the castle and that style. But there's like still the third style, and this is like the one that I'm going to be going for this time around, which is a base, like a proper base with like more verticality, where like everything is kind of built together, not as a tower, but oftentimes like around a mountain range. And this is what I'm going to be kind of going for, but I'm also going to combine it with like kind of a town. It's going to be something like, it's supposed to feel like a place where people are living, but I also kind of want to use the verticality and the kind of, let's call it fantasy of Minecraft, where you can kind of ignore physics. That allows you to have like very interesting builds that are mostly physics defying. Huh, I just got stuck there. That's weird. In any case, I have actually been exploring a little bit. Obviously there was like a lot that I just did while caving. So I decided to settle in a place roughly 5 minutes away from where the other base is. So that's probably like 500 blocks or so. And this is kind of a valley around like this, or like in the middle of this mountain range. I would probably start building up there above the clouds. Obviously the cloud level is going to change over the versions. Currently the world height is actually quite small. Currently the world height limit is 128 blocks, and half of those are obviously below sea level more or less, which means that this is getting close to how high we can build, but this is kind of a good way to judge that. We also have like some overhangs here. I feel like we can make some fascinating builds here, I hope. And by fascinating, I mean at least somewhat interesting in my failure? I don't know. In any case, I brought like a bunch of random blocks here just so I have them already. I will probably have to build a minecart rail over to my actual old base to transport all of the items. But that is at least going to be an interesting project that I'm going to be working on in the near future. For now, I want to start building like something up there and then slowly make my way down. I don't know yet. I'm not going to pre-build anything in creative. I feel like that is kind of the idea with like this spade. It's going to be very, very organic, and I'm going to build whatever I need, and then it's going to work out somehow. And if I don't like it, I'm just gonna remove it, right? Like, this is Minecraft. This is how it should work. And since we have those overhangs, I'm definitely going to use some of those. I have like an idea, and there's actually something I wanna play around with as long as I have the opportunity. Because obviously changes are going to ruin a lot of stuff in the future. I'm actually here at a really, really awkward timing just because I actually want to see how high the clouds are. It's kind of hard to really work without like having a proper F3 menu, which means that I have to find like other ways to really, I guess, navigate around and like figure different measurements out. I feel like this might be a great minimum height. I really want to avoid having clouds within my sight all the time, right? Like I don't mind seeing clouds, but I don't want to stand inside of them. For some projects that's going to be fine, but I feel like for my main base I'm going to spend a lot of time, and it would be nice to not be bothered by the clouds. So wait, I did say this height? I'm gonna have to compare that properly, otherwise that just doesn't work. So if it's this height, 1 up, 2 up, 3 up, 2 up, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it means the minimum height that I can use is around here. That's decent. I mean, I have like 2 layers here. I could have like an entrance over here and like have like a connecting building between like these 2 hills. I feel like that could be a decent starting point, especially with the size. Oh, this is apparently an 11 by 11. I didn't even try to get that. I mean, I can technically go slightly lower, probably like a block or 2, but I feel like this is the perfect height for what I have in mind here. Ooh, the mobs are starting to find me. So I had talked about this in the exploration episode, but one of the things that really made me fall in love with Minecraft were boat elevators. They don't really work anymore in modern Minecraft, but they have worked for quite some time in the older versions. And my goal today is to kind of get one working. I don't know if it's going to work as I imagine. I have not experimented before. I feel like sometimes experimentation is kind of part of the process, and I would like to actually have that one, you know, on a like in a recording. I feel like that's more fun than just, you know, doing everything in creative and then testing it out. To be fair, that wouldn't be something you could really test in creative. But here's the thing about the boat elevator. I do not want to keep the boat on here. It has to move down again, because obviously I can always jump down if I want to, because this hill is kind of annoying to climb, let's be honest. So the boat has to wait downstairs, and I have to make sure that the boat actually gets there, and preferably in one piece. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how I want to have the water move. Because like this definitely works, right? Like the water slowly moves over here, and then the boat is hopefully going to turn, right? Like if you're following that. And ideally, I can just place like one piece of water over here somehow. Yeah, this is kind of the issue that I expected. I might have to put it deeper into the wall, maybe one more. Getting closer, maybe one more. Over here. I said over there. You still have like kind of the issue where you have water forming over there. I don't think that's going to fix it. Maybe if I... Yeah, okay. If I move it like this, you still have like water going over here. That's going to be a perfect distance I need for the water to not get, or like the boat to later not get stuck. But then again, I feel like this could actually work, because like this is going to push me in here. It's getting close. I might have to experiment now. Like, we are just going to assume that the actual elevator part works, and we are going to end up here. And then we are going to be sitting in the boat, and it's not breaking. I mean, it's crashing into the walls, but that is exactly what I want to see. Issue is obviously I cannot pick up this boat again. I have to break it, and then I'm just gonna get some sticks. That's annoying, but I can live with that. Then we need to... like, we are going to use signs. I want to have like 3x3 hole here. And have the boat just leave like that. Do I want the sign here? Or do I want to replace like the floor with the sign so we have like a little bit more speed? I feel like this is more reasonable. And then I'm gonna have to build like a pool downstairs. Like, ideally I would like to hide that part. That's not the biggest issue actually. I can do that. Right, we have like a little place here to actually leave the little basin here that I have for the boat. That's actually perfect. Okay. I'm really looking forward to the moment when signs are finally stacking. I feel like that's going to be a lot of versions still, but... So we want to have the biggest surface possible where like the boat can come up. Now the question is, do I want a 3x3 waterfall or do I want a 1x1 waterfall? I hadn't actually thought about that. Originally I wanted to say, hey, I'm just gonna take a 1x1 waterfall and have like signs around here to basically hold the water in place. But you could also just go for a 3x3. That would also save on signs. I mean, signs are expensive, you know. You know, I'm just gonna check what this is looking like right now. I'm gonna leave the sides here the way they are. And then I'm gonna build like a little basin down here. And no, I cannot jump. I am going to take damage if I jump down here. Like, fall damage is a big issue still. For now, I'm just gonna build like one outer wood. I don't actually know how fall damage is calculated while you're in a boat. This could actually be an issue. I might have to fix that later on, and it might be resulting in some deaths. And I would like to avoid that. Maybe, you know, maybe I should experiment with that with like a little bit less height. But at least that allows us to remove like this waterfall over here. I kind of want to get rid of it for now. I can just remember where it started and replace it if I really want to get that natural look back. Oh wait, there are actually multiple water sources here. I'm gonna remove like the top one first. Okay, this is the water stream. I feel like the 3x3 isn't actually too bad and should allow us to get a decent angle to actually reach the top. Like, originally I wanted to have like a 1x1, so you have to kind of align yourself with the 1x1 and then you definitely have enough space around you. Not sure if this is going to work as I hope, but I might have to go down to like 1x1 just to make this more consistent. But let's see, does it actually work? I know there are some versions where the water elevators didn't work, but look at that. We're just moving up in life. And we're jumping up and we're stuck. Okay, that didn't quite work, but we can slowly move on flat surfaces. And then we're moving... Okay. I somehow survived that. I feel like I'm gonna have to experiment with that. I don't want that to happen again. Like, first, let's try to align ourselves perfectly. I wanna have some water streams that do that later on, but for now I'm just gonna experiment with the actual positioning here. Ooh, jump again. We are in the right position. We are not crashing into the walls. I mean, we are doing that, but it's not too bad. And then the boat just leaves again. Like, I'm gonna open that one up. Not now, though. I'm gonna have to experiment that first. I really don't wanna die to random fall damage. Yeah, that's definitely too deep of a fall. I just fell from there-ish. It's like a third of the height. And that already dealt like 2 hearts of damage. And I'm wearing armor. I don't actually know if armor blocks fall damage. But I've definitely taken like armor damage while falling, so I'm guessing they might actually do that. In any case, before I blow up, let's try this again. I want to see how high I'm actually going up there. And this time I'm gonna go this direction. It's sometimes weird how boats are placed. I want to see, like, I placed some blocks up here. And I'm landing on top of them. Huh. Hey, Mr. Skeleton, could you please stop? Thanks. Ouch. I might deserve that. Okay, it's at least 1, 2, 3 blocks. More like 4. I might have to have a big ceiling here if that's going to work without me taking damage. So water doesn't actually fully block fall damage like it does in modern Minecraft, right? Like where you only need like the tiniest edge of the blade, like the water blade here, and this would stop all of your momentum. In old Minecraft you actually needed, at least from what I remember, 3 whole blocks to block like all of the fall damage. Which is why I have like this hole over here. I'm gonna try that one out. It's going to be kind of risky. I hope I don't die. If I die, I mean, I only have like a wood and stone on me basically. And I was stuck there for a second. That's fine though. I can probably work with that. And you broke again. I still need to figure out how to do that. I might have to change the dimensions of like everything on top of here. Just slightly. I might have to extend like the platform and stuff. It's actually quite likely, like looking at how this works out. In any case, I should be fine dropping here. Yeah, okay. Exactly. 3 blocks is all I need. I hope the same goes for when I use a boat. I should have probably tried with a boat. Like ideally I'm gonna have the boat sitting here basically, and then you get moved forward by like a water stream. And then you just jump up. I just bonked into the other boat. I would like to avoid that in the future. Right, like as you can see we can just sit on top of the wood here, and that's not an issue actually for the boat. So we can use something like that to kind of keep our boat suspended. Could I please move quicker? It's really slow. I feel like I'm getting kind of pushed even though I'm on top of here. Look at my legs. Something's off. In any case, let's see what happens if I ride a boat down. No, that's bad. No fall damage at all? Wait a second, I do know that modern boats do that, but I didn't take any damage? That's surprising. I'm gonna risk it again. Slowly. Huh. I was apparently worried about nothing. For some reason I thought I would take fall damage. I didn't even take fall damage getting out, so I guess I'm safe? Huh. So my basic idea I'm gonna be going for is basically that the boat is going to land here. I have like this little wall, this divider over here. Then it's going to turn around. How am I gonna do that? Preferably I will need some more water here probably. The issue being that I also have to remove those blocks here. I can't have it create any source blocks, but I do need to kind of turn the boat. Like this, maybe? That might be enough, I hope. And then I need like a similar system over here. Pressure plates are so expensive. Right, it's like such a small thing, but it's still... You do feel it over time. Let's see if this is a decent amount of flow. So if I land here... Like ideally I don't want to press anything, right? I'm not gonna touch anything. Gonna just turn around and I should hopefully get the same... No, I don't get the right amount of speed. Too bad. I have to experiment with that. There's definitely a way to do that. Maybe I just need a wall. I don't actually want a wall on one side, but I might need one. I feel like I didn't dig that hole correctly. I feel like... I mean, I dropped over here? Huh. Was kind of close. I don't know. It didn't feel good. I might have to dig this one out as well. So let's see what happens if I go into this boat here. I'm gonna touch the other wall. That's fine. And now I'm jumping. Obviously the boat up there is probably kind of an issue. I'm just gonna stay here and not even land even close to where I want to land. Yeah, I feel like I need to fix that. Wow, climbing is so slow. You know what? I'm gonna get like another boat. Oh, that was actually a decent jump. Didn't touch anything. And I'm falling again. Ooh. That definitely damaged my armor. Okay, maybe, you know, I had some ideas of what I want to fix with that one. I kind of want to use 2 layers of water. That might be enough to save me if that happens again. I'm just gonna leave whenever I end up here and see if the boat actually makes its way down. I mean, it does, it just flies way too far. Also, I'm kind of stuck here. I can't actually... Oh, wait, I can. If I try to swim, I can actually save myself, just barely. Now let's see if that actually helped in any way, shape or form. I did dig out like the floor here, and I also added a little... It's not really a pillar, what would you call it? Like there's like a ledge, I guess you kinda get thrown against. Okay, this is kinda annoying with the jumps. I might have to raise the wall here, but this is, I think, a decent proof of concept. I mean, I at least landed inside of the water, right? And once I am back, I can just continue and go back up again. That was an awkward angle. I might have to improve that as well. That's definitely something I'm saying a lot. Like, I'm gonna have to make a lot of improvements to this waterfall, because this, for example, like, I am just getting flung around again. Yeah, I feel like decent first version, but absolutely not the best. But I do feel like this is a decent starting point. I'm currently kind of limited when it comes to tools and all of that stuff, especially blocks. I might have to bring some over from the old base, but I feel like we can work with that one. But I might have to experiment a little bit between episodes here. In any case, I really hope that this is going to be a really fun base over time. Again, I'm looking forward to the elevation and like all of the challenges that will bring, as well as all the transport needs that I'm gonna have to satisfy in some way. But that obviously doesn't mean that I'm going to abandon my old projects. I definitely still want to build like a port town at some point, and I also want to continue with the Tower of Progress. That one obviously is going to be the overarching project for this entire series, and it's somewhere over there. So I will probably just put like a minecart track over there, so I don't have to walk 5 minutes every single time, and so it's more safe during the night. But the fun thing about this is obviously that this is now a challenge, right, or like a project I can work on over the next few episodes at some point. Same with like the elevator, for example. So this location that I had chosen kind of comes with its own challenges, and I think that makes it a lot more interesting. But I also have to go caving because I still am not allowed to update to the next alpha version, right? Like I still need that golden apple, and this is like the self-imposed rule. So that means I'm gonna go caving in between episodes again. I mentioned before, I'm not gonna do like big recaps of that. I might show like what I found, if there's like something interesting, right? Like if I find like a cool spawner. I would actually love some spawners around here, right? Like we found so many spawners around like the old base, right? There was like one that came up directly next to the storage room, for example. I would have used that one as like a string farm because it was like another spider spawner, and I could have pretended that this was kind of just a wool farm of sorts. Would have been fun, but again, I will figure something out for this area as well. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this more building and experimentation heavy episode. There are going to be more of those in the future, and I really prefer this over designing stuff in creative, right? I might design some stuff every once in a while, but overall it's going to be more like this. In any case, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. I'll be seeing you next time. Till then, have a good one, and bye bye.